Scoodly doodly doo, it's time for another Welch review. Scoodly doodly doo doo.
Evening, gang! Welcome to another episode of the Welch Review. Today, we'll be talking about The Northman. In this movie, you have Alexander Skarsgård as Amleth, and you might recognize him from True Blood, Tarzan, and Big Little Lies on HBO. Or War on Everyone. That's a very good crime film. I love that movie. Nicole Kidman as Queen Gudrun. And you might recognize Nicole Kidman. I mean, you probably know who she is. But just in case, Eyes Wide Shut, Moulin Rouge, Cold Mountain, Australia, Days of Thunder, Far and Away. The list goes on and on with her. Aquaman. You have Klaus Bang as Fjolnir the Brotherless, and I apologize if I butcher Norse names. My apologies. And Klaus was in Dracula on Netflix, The Square, and The Girl in the Spider's Web. You also have Ethan Hawke as King Arundel the War Raven, and he was in The Kid, In the Valley of Violence, Training Day, The Good Lord Bird, among many, many other films. Anya Taylor-Joy as Olga of the Birch Forest. She was in Last Night in Soho, Split, Glass, and then the New Mutants movie. And then you have Elliot Rose as Gunner. This is his first major role. Gustav Lind as Thorir the Proud. Was in Queen of Hearts, The Dark Heart, and Burn All My Letters. William Dafoe was in this as Hiramir the Fool. You might William Dafoe, let's face it, we all know William Dafoe. But Spider-Man No Way Home, Dog Eat Dog, right? William Dafoe is great. The Boondock Saints 2, man can do anything. Animorph, right? Eldar Skar as Finir the Norse Stub. Akupert, Lykeir, Still In, and The Tunnel. I have not seen any of those. But perhaps they are pretty good. So if you're into foreign films, they might be, or foreign shows, it might be worth taking a peek. You have Bjork as the Seeress. My apologies. Bjork is a famous singer. Then you have Ralph Ineson as Captain Voldemire. He was the Green Knight, Gunpowder Milkshake, and in Game of Thrones. And you have Ingvar Sigurdsson as the He Witch, and he was in Ingvar was in Everest, A White Day, and Jar City. And this film was written by Sajan, who is a poet, and he wrote Lamb, which came out, we did a review on Lamb, and Dancer in the Dark, and it was also written by Robert Eggers and directed by Robert Eggers, who previously did The Vitch and The Lighthouse. So, and you can see a couple people from his previous films in here, right? Anna Taylor-Joy was in The Vitch, so was Ralph Ineson. And then in The Lighthouse, William Dafoe was in that, and here he is as one of the Fool characters. Now, basically, The Northman is, in a way, kind of like a Norse Macbeth in a strange way, right? So it follows a young kid, Amleth, right, whose father returns home after being out exploring and conquering land and treasure. So he comes home, big celebration, everyone's excited. Amleth is excited to see his father. And then there's, in the midst of this, there's a coup, right? There's a turning of power in which his uncle, Fjolnir, takes the throne and essentially murders everyone loyal to his father, King Arundel, right? So, and they're coming after him, right? So he was with his dad as he's getting assassinated, and his uncle put the hit out on him, and he's running, and he's a small kid, but he's very tactful and knows, he's doing a lot better than I think I would or most people would in this situation, and he gets away. And as he's escaping, he's repeating in his head, I will save you, mother. I will avenge you, father. I will kill you, Fjolnir, right? So he's laying out the things that he's going to do with his life, right? These are the three things he's working for. And so then it flashes forward to him as an adult, which is now where Alexander Skarsgård takes on the role of Amleth. Now, it's a very fast-paced movie. I didn't feel like this was slow at all. I think, they do a great job, very attention to detail in designing the kingdom, right? And everything within that, like the houses and the walls, just the whole atmosphere of what Arundel's kingdom is perfectly well created, right? There's a lot of attention to detail. Clearly, they upped the budget for this movie. So that's okay. So now we're focused on adult Amleth, and he's a berserker, right? A different Viking group took him in and essentially raised him to be a warrior, right? This monster that just goes in and destroys, so then they can take slaves, women, property, gold, treasure, what have you. So he's been doing this for God knows how many years now, and he has no idea what's going on with his mother, no idea what's going on with his uncle, or his father's kingdom, right? He's kind of just been in the business of murder and mayhem. So, and he's shredded. Like, he's the most shredded I think I've ever seen him in any movie. Like, I thought he was ripped in Tarzan. He, looks like he ate Tarzan in this movie, He fought gorillas, now he's fighting Vikings. I don't know which one is scarier. I'll let that be up to you to decide. But yeah, so anyhow, so he's going this, and then there's this really cool scene, right? So, they do this dance the night before they're about to go to battle. It's cool. Interpretive dance is a little interesting. Not my cup of tea. I don't think I would be dancing and pretend to be a wolf, but that's just me. So the next day, I thought this was a fun effect. I couldn't tell if they put wolf noises when they're pretending they're low to the ground, approaching this encampment, or if they actually had the actors make wolf noises while they're running. If it's the second one, I think that would be a little bit more fun. But anyway, the really cool scene, and you've seen this in the trailer if you've watched it, so I don't necessarily think it's a spoiler. But anyway, the scene is someone up on the wall sees these berserkers approaching, and they throw a spear down. Well, Alexander Skarsgård, without skipping a beat, catches it and then whips it back and kills the guy who threw it. And it's super cool. One solid motion. How they captured that was beautiful. But anyway, so it goes in the camera, it does the whole berserker thing, and it looks like it's just one continuous shot, right? There's no cuts, just one continuous flowing shot. Very similar to The Revenant with Leonardo DiCaprio, or no, not The Revenant. Sorry, Birdman. Right, Birdman, how it just, flows from one thing to the next with no cuts. That's very much what this looked like to me. And the cinematography is beautiful, right? It puts you right in this world, and it is a harsh mud and blood type of society all the way around. There are some really nice landscape shots that by no means think that there isn't there. It's I would say it's a unique blend of a big budget film, like a big budget historical piece, and an art film, right? It's a very nice medium between the two. However, definitely don't get it twisted. There is a lot of blood, a lot of mud in this movie. So anyway, goes to the encampment, does his berserker thing, dead, right? A lot of death. And in the midst of it, there's some really harsh stuff that goes down. I'm not going to talk about it because I don't wish for anyone to see that, but I guess at the same time, it's just shocking, and probably I'm sure there's some truth to that type of stuff actually being done. But anyway, later on as it goes, people are divvied up into who's going to be a slave, who's not going to be a slave. He goes to this building where he sees a seeress, right? Basically, like a seer, but a woman, right? So hey, just a seer, a lady seer, and she tells him hey, you need to avenge your father. That's what you need to be doing, right? That's what you told yourself. So then he's kind of gets back on course, right? After who knows how long it's been since he repeated, "I will save you, mother. I will avenge you, father. I will kill you, Fiona." Right? How long it's been since he's been off track? He is now back on track. right? And with a vengeance, right? And this dude is scary looking now. Like, he can do some serious, serious damage. So that's okay. So he's back on track. It's the next day. They're seeing where slaves are. He's looking. He's like, hey, where are these guys going? And they tell him, oh, they're going to Fëanor the Brotherless, right? And he's like, okay. So then he brands himself, cuts his hair, takes some dead person's clothes, puts that on, brands himself with the seal that says we're going to this Fëanor guy's joint, and then he gets on the boat with these other slaves. So that's cool, right? So he's already like closer to his mission than he was years previous. And while he's on this boat, he meets Anna Taylor-Joy's character, right? Olga from the Birch Forest. And they kind of strike up a friendship, right? He's like, you know, I'm here to avenge my dad. She's like, well, if you go anywhere, will you come find me? And they kind of form an alliance. And then once he gets to his uncle's new encampment, because he was run out of the kingdom that he took, and I'm sorry, that's a little bit of a wordful. So his uncle took over his father's kingdom, and then as years went on, Fëanor, the uncle, was kicked out of that land, and now he has like a small base of operations in Iceland. I think it's Iceland. It's Iceland or Greenland, and I apologize for not knowing that off the top of my head. So anyway, he has this base of operations in either Iceland or Greenland. So okay, so slave boat gets there, and then this is how things start to unwind, right? It's about how Amleth proves himself useful to his uncle, so he's kept around and can have access to and fro within the kingdom, in which case he can then exact his revenge. So I will leave that there for you, because I don't want to give too much away. And like an M. Night Shyamalan movie, there's a crazy twist, right? So it has like a Macbeth type beginning, but then it's totally different in the end. And you don't exactly see it coming, and you really feel for Amleth. So I guess I will leave it there, right? Because anything more will be spoilers and possibly ruin it for you if you have not seen it. But in that being said, I think this is a very, very well done movie. It's definitely a cross between a historic epic and an art film. Alexander Skarsgård, this might be, I think, one of the best films I've seen him in. I would say Northman, Tarzan, and War on Everyone are my top 3 movies for him. So, which I think is perfect because, you know, he is like Norse. Yeah, he's from one of those regions in Europe, which is perfect casting. You know, and he commits to the role, right? He commits heavily to the role. He does a great job. Anya Taylor-Joy is fantastic in everything she does. Klaus Bang does a great job. You know, basically European actors, they do great. They're fantastic. They commit hard. And I hope that Robert Eggers is given more big budget movies to do, because he delivers, right? It's not a disappointment. It's not a flop. It's a fantastic film. And it goes by fast. It doesn't feel like it's a slow drag. Like The Green Knight, man, that felt like it dragged hard. And it was going for the same type of thing, right? Historical epic mixed with art, and that movie certainly was more art house than historical epic, and Robert Eggers, I think, has found the perfect medium between the two. So, if you have not seen The Northman, I highly encourage you to do so. And if you have seen The Northman, I would suggest you watch it again, or when it comes out on DVD, you should definitely pick it up. But until next time, this has been the Welch Review. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more.